There's a timeless, majestic beauty about these formations. This is a geologist's paradise. Massive slabs of sedimentary rock lifted skywards and studded with ancient fossils. We're about to explore this place, the Flinders Ranges of South Australia, in this episode of TravelOz. Hello, I'm Grainger. In the Flinders, we'll spend time on a sheep property. Check out the endangered rock wallabies. TravelOz. And meet its Indigenous owners.
Something about the Flinders that keeps drawing you back.
The two Tims take us to celebrations at the Opal mining township of Lightning Ridge. And we'll check out the wilder side of the Queensland capital. We're driving from one side of Australia to the other, a marathon road journey that is taking us from Sydney on the east coast to Darwin in the top end. From the mining city of Broken Hill in New South Wales, we're crossing into South Australia. This leg is taking us 5 hours, and with strong headwinds, I miscalculate how much diesel we'll need and find myself limping into the Flinders Ranges on a near-empty fuel tank. These are my first glimpses of the Flinders. Huge ochre-coloured bluffs tower over me. Uplifted formations I find uplifting. My first contact comes not on 2 legs but 4 wheels. This is Tony Smith, who owns a huge sheep property in the shadow of the Flinders. G'day.
Hello, Greg. Good to see you.
Thanks, mate.
Welcome to Rawnsley Park.
Rawnsley Park, right in the middle of the Flinders Ranges.
Beautiful Flinders Ranges.
And this is Kev?
Yeah, Kev's a Kelpie and he helps out on the station. We couldn't do much with the sheep without Kev.
So you'll round up some sheep, you'll shear a sheep and you'll take us for a trek with Kev?
Well, that's the idea. Yeah, Kev will come up onto Rawnsley Bluff with us and we'll have a look at some of the beautiful scenery up there on the bluff.
Rawnsley Park has been a working sheep property for 85 years. These days, Tony has a flock of 700 prime merinos, sheep that he and Kev round up once a year to be shorn. Now with this task, Kev, the Kelpie, is the consummate king of control, dashing at high speed to steer the sheep in the right direction. Then it's Tony's job to catch one healthy specimen at a time. These merinos weigh up to 40 kilograms each, and to shear them, Tony has to wrestle them into the right position. Tony, looks like back-breaking work.
Oh, it can be, but the shearers get used to it and they get strong and used to the work. I think they're glad to get rid of the fleece. There's probably 8 kilos of wool on the sheep, so if it can lose 8 kilos, it's like losing a pack, isn't it?
Okay, and 8 kilos, what's that worth to you?
Oh, that's probably worth about $40, around about $5 a kilo.
In a good day, a good shearer can get through how many sheep?
Oh, about 150 a day.
And you?
Let's not talk about that. We've had a fairly dry period for the last decade and sheep numbers are down and wool prices have been down over the last decade, so most of the sheep farmers have been struggling.
How are you feeling?
Well, that was good. I enjoyed that, Greg. I enjoy 1 or 2 at a time.
And look at this beautiful wool.
Beautiful merino wool, yeah. Okay, the trick is with throwing the fleece is to try to get the outside of the fleece facing up. So, about 70%, I'd say.
Tony's property boasts both part of the Flinders Ranges and a healthy collection of wildlife. From his homestead, we'll trek amongst the emus and roos for a closer look at the Flinders. Tony, some magnificent vistas in your backyard. Rawnsley Bluff in your backyard.
Yeah, it's about a 4-hour return hike to the top of Rawnsley Bluff, but it's well worth it. You get a view right down over the property down to Hawker, which is about 50 kilometres south of here. Yeah, it's a pretty nice walk, and I think what people really like about walking in the Flinders is that the The vegetation doesn't enclose you, but it's all around you, but you can still see out and see the rocks and the wildlife and the vistas. The whole of the Flinders was originally under the ocean, and about 500 million years ago, this was a little lagoon, I suppose, and now it's been forced up, and these rocks have been exposed, and the harder layers are the mountain ranges, and the softer layers have been washed out to the lakes to the west and east of the ranges.
Back at his homestead, Tony shows off some environmentally clever villas he's built for visitors to his property. And Tony, you've made these out of straw bales?
Yeah, these are the straw bale villas. They're full-size bales, with rendered sand and cement. And what you see is a nice thick wall, just like the old stone buildings that the early settlers built, except these are made out of straw. They're well insulated and they're environmentally friendly, so very comfortable to live in.
Further north, another group of abandoned buildings can be found at Wilpena Pound. The homestead and outbuildings here were built 150 years ago, lasting monuments to the early pioneers who survived high temperatures and extreme isolation to live in the mid-1800s. But far outlasting the European settlers were the Adna-Mudna people, who lived here for up to 40,000 years. They've erected a moving monument to their people called Ikara. And Pauline, this is the welcome rock to Ikara.
Ikara is a meeting place, and Adna-Mudna is a group from the Flinders Ranges. Adna is rock, and the Mudna is a group, so we're basically the rock people from the Flinders Ranges. And this little piece says Ngalpuliyarta, meaning our country. The location that we picked for this place is because it's right in line with St Mary's Peak, which you can see that big hill in the background over here.
So what's the significance of all this, Pauline?
The significance of all these statements here is basically incorporating the Adna-Mudna history with the pastoral industry.
And you've contributed to some of these. I see your name and your mother's name.
The first statement up there is, our culture has endured for over 40,000 years. We pass down law, social hierarchy, knowledge and understanding of the land. And you certainly have just had a close affinity with the land. We are very close to the country. We feel the spirit of the land is still very much strong amongst our people.
Well, Pauline, you've helped to design this wonderful Ikara monument here, and your own statement is embodied in stone just here.
Yeah, I feel very strongly about the statement. I often pass this on to whoever I talk to, and it says, don't dwell on the past, but acknowledge it to make it a better future.
So as far as the whole sorry debate goes, this would fit perfectly with the whole theme of the message.
Yep, for sure. I mean, I think that statement itself is actually, you know, let's move on together as all people. It is a very spiritual place here. Personally, I feel that all our people have passed on, but they're still walking with us side by side. It's something about the Flinders that keeps drawing you back. And living in this area for over 50 years now, no matter what time of the day, I travel this area all the time, but no matter whenever I do come out here, I still appreciate what I see. It could be something different I might have not seen before. It depends on the lighting, you know, the colour changes, and it's just magnificent and makes me feel so good inside.